Hi, everyone. Welcome. Looks like we still have people joining. While people are still signing in, logging on, I want to just remind everyone to use the chat to sign in to the meeting, add your email, your name, email address, and student names. That would be great. And let's see. We have a few more people on. Hope everyone's enjoying this lovely summer evening. My name is Leslie Medley. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm the HSA president, and welcome to our April HSA general meeting. This is we'll have one more after this tonight. The main meeting will be the end of the meeting season for HSA. So thanks for joining us. We are gonna get started with our school update from President Kate Davis. I'm gonna stop sharing, or no, actually, I'm sorry. Your slides are here. I have all of your slides.
Yeah, if you could click for me, that would be really helpful. Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to see you logged in on Zoom. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful weather. We just have some important updates to share. Hopefully nothing that's too much new information, but there are some things that are new. We are in the busy time of year at Central High School. I believe this is actually a repeat from the slide that we had in the March home and school meetings. So these are the dates of our dance events for the sophomore, junior, and senior class. We did reschedule our soft hop from March 31st, the Friday before spring break, to Friday, May the 5th. Next slide, please. This slide contains a variety of information just about things coming up at the end of the year. I won't go into too much detail because I do believe from the class level updates, there will be some information shared as well. But we are having a joint junior senior picnic as Central did last year. That date was just finalized. It is happening in June. June the 6th is the day. Teacher hiring for the next school year is underway. We have a member of the home and school who is a part of the hiring committee representing parents, which I am very thankful for. Next year, we at this point are hiring for 2 math teachers, 2 social studies teachers, and 2 science teachers. And so we are interviewing candidates at this time. There is a possibility that we may be hiring for additional positions, but that is what we are working on for right now. When we get to the month of May, the advanced placement and international baccalaureate testing will begin. That testing is happening for the most part at LaSalle University. LaSalle is very generous in donating their space and their classrooms so that it does not disrupt instruction within the central school building. If you are a returning parent, this was a big challenge we had last year. So I am very appreciative of LaSalle's new president, President Allen, who graciously extended his space to us. We, believe it or not, are gearing up to welcome a new class of 9th graders, class 286. So I just sent out my initial outreach communication to them earlier this week, and we just made a new page on our website for 286. If you are a 285 parent, 286 families are getting very similar communication to what you got last year, but we will have orientation days over the summer, days where they're going to select what language they want to study, if they want to test out of Algebra 1, those sorts of things. And so that is all on our school's website. And so if you know anyone joining 286, I hope you will join me in welcoming them. And last but not least, we have a lot of trips that are coming up, but there's a trip that's happening tomorrow, actually. We have roughly, 100 students, Dr. Scott? Traveling to Washington, D.C. Some members of the home and school are going as parent chaperones, which is incredible. We have another trip next week where I'll be going to D.C. We're going to the White House. So there's a lot of really exciting and cool things that are happening, and I will be highlighting it and sharing some photos in an upcoming family newsletter so people stay connected. On the bottom left-hand side of this slide, I've highlighted just some exciting milestones that some of our clubs have reached. DECA, which is a business-oriented club, we have a member of our junior class who's traveling to Orlando. She qualified for the World Championships, and she's participating. Is that in 2 weeks, Dr. Scott? It's happening very soon. If any of your students are a part of the robotics program at Central High School, you would get the robotics listserv emails, but the robotics team was very busy last week during spring break in their state tournament, and they also qualified for their world championships, which are happening in a few weeks, and they're going to be traveling, 24 students will be traveling to Houston, Texas for that, which is very exciting. And our Science Olympiad team, which is led by 2 of our chemistry teachers, is going to their state tournament. It's the first time in Central Science Olympiad history that they've qualified for states, and that's happening in the next few weeks as well. So lots of things to be proud of and some firsts that we haven't experienced before. And then on the bottom right-hand side, you just see how our spring athletics is going at this time. I don't have an update for outdoor field track and field, but I'll make sure to include them as well as badminton, the next update. We've had some really incredible, oh my goodness, lacrosse, thank you. Lacrosse is doing I was gonna say, we've had some teams who've had real blowouts, like they're completely dominating. Lacrosse goes in that category. And we've also had some really incredible baseball and softball wins as well. Next slide, please. Oh, that's it for me. If you're a parent whose child is involved in athletics, I would just encourage you to follow their Instagram pages. They do a really incredible job of sharing photographs and highlights from all of their practices and games. Thank you, Leslie. That wraps up the report for this time.
Thank you, President Davis. I don't know if there are any questions before we move on.
I have one.
Okay.
As far as the prom, do you guys know how many tickets you're giving out yet?
Hi, Ms. Travis. Did you say prom?
Yes, I should have actually said the senior prom. Sorry about that.
No problem. I want to say that the answer is between 400 and 500, but I could ask Ms. Esserman and get back to you. But I believe that that is the number that we usually sell. Dr. Scott, did that sound about right? 400?
Yes, like it's based on really how many students are going from, who are eligible to go, whatever. And so generally about that many to attend with guests.
Generally, for proms, we don't have a concern of selling out. Every student who wants to be able to go is historically able to buy a ticket.
Okay, and then what about for graduation? Do we know how many tickets that the children are receiving yet?
Sure. So we're still finalizing that information with the Kimmel Center. It will be at least 3 tickets with the potential to increase, but it will not be less than 3.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Scott, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, if I can figure it out. Oh, don't tell me. All right, so it's not working. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a copy of the link, and I'm gonna put it in the chat, and then everyone can follow along that way, if that's okay with everyone.
Sure, or I can share it. If you drop it in the chat, I can open and share it if you want.
Okay, I'll send it to you. Okay, 1 second. All right. Did you get it?
Dr. Scott, as you are doing that, I'll just sort of set the scene for folks.
Okay.
So the information that Dr. Scott is going to share is a part of our required Title I programming. There are two important documents that all schools develop and share annually. One is called the Parent Engagement Policy, and the other one is a compact document. Historically, there's not a lot of change year after year, but we always, in every school I've led, we've had these conversations with a home and school or with a PTA in this setting. We really do seek your feedback. And so Dr. Scott, she works with our liaison for the Title I office, which is why she's sharing this information tonight. One thing that is important is we just share with the school district's Title I office who participated in this conversation. So I know people already put their names in the chat, but if you wouldn't mind just either sending it to me directly or dropping it in one more time, I'm going to cut and paste that directly to the representative that we work with from the school district. Does that capture everything, Dr. Scott?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
So every year, Leslie should be able to open it now.
Got it, yeah.
Okay. So every year we just go through, there's a certain things that we have to go. I'm gonna start with the compact, and then we're going to go quickly with the parent engagement.
And
Now-
Dr. Scott, I do see that Lori's also signed on.
Oh,
Welcome.
hey,
Thanks for
Lori.
joining us.
Thanks for coming in. So every year we are asked to do this as President Davis said. And generally, a lot of things are just, these are agreements that we make with parents so that we are bringing you a robust academic environment for students to thrive and to feel welcome and things like that. And so I'm going to go down what the questions that we have to do. The first thing I'm looking at, which one did I give you? Did I give you the compact? Leslie, did you share it?
Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
This is
Yes,
it.
the compact, yeah. So you're gonna go down where it says school teacher responsibilities.
Yes.
And this is where we have input. On here, you'll see there's central goals, but the goals pretty much are selected with the school, but also with the district. We're going to be updating our goals because President Davis says these don't match what Central is able to do. Central students are able to do. So with the school teacher responsibilities, you can read briefly what is their high quality curriculum instruction, provide parents with frequent reports on your students' progress, provide parents with reasonable access to members of the faculty, host events in response to areas of need and interest, and provide an overview. Now, what we ask is when I highlight the certain areas, if there's something else there that you think needs to be added into this, we will be, you can put that in the chat, just say under school teacher responsibilities, and you can just say STR. And then if you have anything that you want to add to that, I'll do that at a later date. All of these compacts and the compact and the engagement policy are put into our parent student handbooks every year. And then we also post them on the school district. So like I said, this is where we want feedback from parents so that they can have, you know, more of a involvement into what is going on in the schools. So what we're saying is, as teachers and as a school, these are the things that we are going to do to make sure your involvement and your students are having a good involvement in school. For the parent responsibilities, you can move down to that. Okay. Now, these are all the things. Some of these are, you know, across the district, some of the same things that we would hope parents will do to make sure their students are having a good school year. And as you can see, monitor child's attendance, provide absence notes when needed, monitor mental and physical health, volunteer in child's school, stay engaged, participate in decisions related. We have a number of times during the school year when parents can give their input. promote positivity, promote positive use of extracurricular time, as well as Chromebook and social media, and staying informed, and to ensure that your child are informed and follow the district's code of conduct and the central student parent handbook. And that's kind of our code of conduct as well. So these pretty much are the same throughout. Like I said, with this one as well, if you have anything that you think needs to be added, changed, just drop it into the chat. You can put PR and then write what you think your suggestion would be. The next one would be your student responsibilities. And we as students, now we got to talk to our students because sometimes they don't like rules, but we are trying to get them to understand that there are certain norms that we need to follow so that everyone is safe, everyone is learning, everyone has a great high school experience. So these are the things that we hope that they will take responsibility with. And we work with our students to talk about these things as well. So it's things like completing homework daily, ask for help when needed, seek subject area tutoring from teachers and peers, consistently check on the grades. And we don't want them to do that too often because sometimes some kids get a little bit anxious about that. But as often as they can to make sure that they're on track with their grades, attend school daily, barring, of course, if they're sick, monitor and limit their absences and latenesses, as well as cuts. Reach out to parents and teacher or counselor when they're feeling depressed or overwhelmed. Monitor or manage distractions in their life, such as social media, texting, and phone calls. Follow and familiarize themselves with the district's code of conduct, as well as information in the central student handbook. Ensure that parents are informed and receive in a timely manner information, and participate and complete the yearly 30 hours of community service. So these are just some of the things. If you can go down, again, with this one, put SR. If there's anything that you think might need to be changed, please put it in the chat and we will look at it to see where we can make that changes added in. Next one is the communication about student learning. And with that, sorry. The way we do that is through phone calls, robocalls, emails, Infinite Campus Parental Portal. You can get information there, Google Classroom, our social media sites. Teachers have websites, as well as on things like Google Meet. You know, if we have meetings and things like this, we're trying to now make sure that we provide time both virtually or in person so that parents can get communication effectively. The same with this, do communication, and then if there's anything that you see that's missing as a way to communicate with you as an individual, please put it in the chat as well. The next area, and I hope I'm not going too fast, activities to build partnerships. So we want to build partnerships with families. You know, these are your children. You know them best. We want to help them to be successful. So some of the things, events and programs that we currently have, we have, you know, the report card conferences, which we have both virtually and in person. We have the back to school night, which now it's easier just to do in person. Then we have activities so that students can show, you know, their individual backgrounds and pride. So we have Multicultural Week, AASU Week, API Week, which is actually next week. And next year we are looking to have a Hispanic Heritage Week. So these are some of the things that we are doing. We also have the Career Day, so students can get information from the alumni. We have a plethora of athletic and extracurricular activities. We have a great music and theater programs and productions. with, we include parents, as President Davis said earlier, in our staff interviewing process, as well as students. And we also have the new student orientation, parent orientation, as well as our home and school events. So that is all for that compact. As well for the compact, please put in the chat activities to build partnerships. So you can say ABP. And then if you think of anything that else can be added in this section, please let us know. I'm gonna drop the next one in the chat for you as well, Leslie.
Okay.
Okay, the next one, you should be able to open that one as well. The next compact or document we will be working on is the parent engagement, parent and family engagement policy. So this is always a hard task because, you know, people are busy. So we try to utilize for our engagement, the home and school. And so we send it out to everyone and we, you know, hope as many people as possible can come on. So we look at ways that we can engage our parents. If there are activities, workshops, things like that you would like to see more of, or just to see, you can put those in the chat. But I'm going to start with the section entitled annual fall, well, does it say annual fall Title I family engagement meeting? Where is that? So it's going
I
to
see
say
annual Title
say-
I.
yeah, so it's yes, that one.
Okay.
So I'll say quickly that each year, you know, we have to update this, and this is the day that we put on there when we do it. So if people ask, well, when did you update these documents? Well, every April, the second Tuesday at home and school is when we do it. And so the first thing, I'm sorry. So the annual Title I meeting is generally held at our October meeting. We have tried to do it during the back to school night, but that night is very packed in a short period of time. So October, the first meeting of our school year for home and school, we have the Title I meeting. And during that time, President Davis goes through all the information regarding Title I funding, how we there's 1% of funds set aside for parents. We like to get parents' input on things that they they would like to see used for those things. I will just say that some of the money in our parent engagement Title I funds for parents goes to our agenda books that have these compacts in them. And that's a way to communicate quickly. Some of our students don't use them, but we every year encourage them to use it so they can stay on track. They know things that are going on. Another thing that we talk about during that time is your right to know about the teachers who are in front of your students, the certifications they have and things like that. You can move down to the next, which is back to school night. So yeah, so back to school night, we don't have a set night just yet. By the end of the year, we'll know. But September is when we generally have back to school night. As you know, this year we're starting after Labor Day. So you all can have your vacations and things like that, but we'll start moving quickly from there. Leslie, you can move down to,
Sorry, I didn't see, you said back to school.
Yeah,
Mary.
yeah.
I was trying to look for it. Is it?
it's not there, wait a minute, hold up.
Okay.
This is the confusing part. Wait a minute. So we did annual title 1. So communication, just go down to the communication section. I'm just gonna go through it that way.
Okay.
With communications, monthly home and school meetings will take place. As you know, our president is very talented in many ways. And so she likes to send out monthly, I believe it's monthly, newsletters. And those go out to parents and they give you updates and things like that as well. So we appreciate that. As President Davis will always say, one of the major things when she came on board that she heard from a multitude of people was that communication sometimes wasn't the best at Central. And so we have been working hard this year to do different things to help with that communication. If there are any other things that you feel you want to see more in communications, please write that in the chat. The only thing we do not do is texting, but we do robocalls, we do, like I said, the newsletter, we do at the monthly home and school meeting, we do a lot of information and things like that there. But if there's for you as individuals something else that you need, please put that in the chat as well. Next we'll move down to where it says school parent compact. I just want to highlight some things there. So next year, and I was surprised to see this on the calendar, and I'll check it again, but the first quarter report card conferences are going to be one day in November. It said November 27th. It said November 27th, a full day. So that's right after the Thanksgiving break. And then we have in February 1st and 2nd will be our half days for report card conferences. And then April 4th and 5th, half days for report card conferences. So as we'll probably continue to do both in person and virtually, because we know we want to be as accommodating as possible for parents. So just please keep looking out each time we have it, but this is a way for you to see that, to communicate with us and to have a compact between us every year. All right, the next, okay. And today is the annual spring meeting, so that's why the date is in there like that. Leslie, move down to to where it says a reservation of funds. So in the winter, every February, generally we do it in February because January is just so close to when we get back to school from the break. We will have our annual winter meeting, and at that time we ask parents everything that they think would be helpful for our students. As far as from their perspective. And this year we had a lot of people talk about funds going towards SAT prep, things like that, looking at safety and all that type of thing. So we've used what we could and manipulated how we could for certain things. It is sometimes hard to do the the SAT prep and everything, but we are looking at ways that teachers can do that as far as the AP and IB testing and things like that. So we are trying to incorporate those things in extracurricular activities and things like that. You can move down to building capacity for parents. where the block is. So building capacity is just a way of how staff can support parents in understanding the curriculum that they're teaching, having access to them with learning about their child, how they're doing and things like that. And so some of the things that we talk about are parent teachers meeting, of course, a syllabus we provide. And then there are some things that we want to, try again to try to accomplish. So we try to see if we can get some more support for literacy for parents, math, technology. And these are things that we would like parents, if you're interested in, let us know. We haven't had many parents, suggesting these things. We do have the FAFSA and the college prep information every year. And so these are things that we would also like you to continue to let us know how we can support you so that we can build your capacity of how you can support your child throughout the school year. Freshman year, every year has different things that the student is struggling with or has concerns about. As you know, junior year, students start to really think about college and things like that, because it's when they start in the summer, they just want to run with starting to apply to colleges and things like that. And so it's best if we give you that information in a timely manner. So if you come to all these events and things like that, and let us know what other workshops you want, we can make sure that we accommodate you with that information. Last thing, I believe it's the last thing, is I'll talk about that. So I'm sorry. So the last thing I'll talk about is this section where it says building the capacity a little bit more. And I talked about all that, but the last thing, the next part is the monthly parent selected professional development opportunities. Again, please give us information on anything that you want. And then the last thing, which is right above President Davis' signature, is that we will continue to email other pertinent information or documents in translated versions. So we're looking to do that more often. We do have bilingual counselors who support us with phone calls as well as translating documents. So we're starting to use that a little more next year, and as well as having conferences, if you need conferences with the nurse or with counselors or with any assistant principal, administrator. We can do it both either in person or virtually. And we hope that that will give you all opportunity to contact us for any information that you need to support your child. Again, after all that long, drawn out explanation, if there's anything that you want to have added to these documents, please just put it in the chat, and then we will take care of that, and you will see the finished document in the fall in the student agenda books. And that's it for me. Any questions? Great.
Dr. Scott, thank you. Is there an opportunity for parents to share what they might like to see added if they're not part of this meeting? So
yeah, yes. I can send you that link. Well, you can take that link and post it. Well, I'll send you the link to make sure it's the one that doesn't, that is not editable, that you can't, edit in any way. And then you can send it out, and I'll have questions for parents to answer. That makes sense.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna move ahead here to our committee updates. And our first committee update is from Nina Liu, our treasurer.
Evening, everyone. So just to give you a quick snapshot, during this particular month of March, we're starting to see our auction sales revenue, and I'm sure Robin will talk more about that on the next slide, but we're starting to see that coming in. And the HSA has been busy working to fulfill departmental grants for supplies and materials that they may need for their classes. We've purchased a lot of paper over the last month and stuff, but you know, as we know, unfortunately, schools don't get enough paper, so we're really happy we can be able to support that. So most of our expenditures, as you can see, have been towards fulfilling those departmental grants. We'll see more of that next month in the report, and then just we starting to, you know, the auction costs for, you know, all the back end stuff that we need to be able to support the auction, which again, I'm sure Robin will talk more about.
Thank you, Nina. And Robin, that was your introduction.
Yes. Good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. So there is, I think the Spiritwear, I don't think we have online ordering available yet. However,
We do it up.
or that is up.
It's live.
Oh,
It's been
that's
live.
live. Okay. All right. So there is the online ordering is available. We will also, we're trying to come, if your students want to purchase something, I think we were talking about May 5th, which is when they're going to be doing the entrance exams for the freshmen or the new freshmen, that we will be outdoors or at the school selling swag. So if your student is interested in some t-shirts or whatever, we would certainly be selling them at the school May 5th. And that's a half day so that they can purchase it on their way out the door. But the big news is the Celebrating Central Fundraiser. It is a silent and a live auction that we will be hosting. We did have one last year as well. May 6th at Fleischer Art Memorial. And there is, we did get use of their parking lot. So there's about a parking lot for about 60 spaces across the street. So parking is convenient and nearby. We are going to do the silent auction will be online, and we will also have some in-person items, as well as the live auction will be at the event as well. There is food, drinks, and dessert at the event. We have spirits are being donated by Philadelphia Distilling Company. Yards is donating a bunch of beer. We are purchasing food from De Bruno's, but their food is always great. It's what we had last year. And Brooke Carrier is donating. She is a Central student, a senior, and she is donating some cupcakes. And then we also have for desserts, and we also have Varello's is also donating some desserts as well. So it should be a really great event. And we also have we'll have a DJ for the event as well. So for some of our auction items, we have some restaurants, some activities, some family activities, all kinds of items that that we're working on getting donated, lots of food items. And we will also have some extra graduation tickets for sale, as well as permits or for auction. That'll be one of our live auction items, as well as permits for parking. And we have some other live auction items that we're working on. We do have a Myrtle Beach condo that is also that we're also auctioning off live, and we have some other items. So I'm hoping to put the catalog up online over the next week, and there will be some more emails going out to purchase tickets, et cetera, et cetera. Tickets are $60 for a single, $110 for a couple, and then there's lots of opportunities for sponsorships as well. So those are all listed on the website.
Rob,
yes.
Can you put the link to buy tickets and everything into the chat when you're done with your slide?
Yes. And then also I'm looking for a co-chair for fundraising next year if anybody's interested. My son graduates next year and I will be passing the baton, and I would love to have somebody to work with next year so that we can continue all of these great fundraising activities. So does anybody have any questions about the auction? All right. Well, thanks for your time, and I hope everyone buys tickets. It was a really fun event last year. Really super fun. Lots of food, lots of drink, lots of fun.
Great event. Yeah, looking forward to it. Next up is Campus Beautification with Terry Jack, and Anne-Marie Thompson presenting.
Hi, yes, I want to right off the bat second the auction was so much fun last year. I hope everybody gets to participate. We are doing our rain date for the Central Spring cleanup this Saturday, so the 15th. Keeping the time the same, 9 to 12. President Davis has very generously offered to come and personally open the building so that we have restroom access and access to the building during the cleanup. The students have all been reminded and notified via Google Classroom updates from their class sponsors, and I will get out reminder email on the HSA Google group. I do want to put out there that we are short on equipment, both to use, but also on storage space for when the event is done. So if you are planning on coming and have an outdoor broom, work gloves, rake, anything of that nature that you can bring to help up with the cleanup, we would really appreciate it. And the cleanup is open to all students and eligible. Any of the students that sign in will receive 3 hours of community service. I know that has been a hot topic as we are entering the last couple of weeks for racking up your 30 hours of annual community service. And students can come on their own if they can get to the school as well. So it doesn't have to be a full family commitment. But really hoping to have a good turnout and give the outside campus good cleaning and sprucing up for all the many events coming for the end of the year. Anne-Marie and I are also interested in getting a more like a regular committee meeting with HSA members going. So if you are interested in being involved in planning the next projects, there are a lot of things that we have on our list, but we want to hear what's important to the parents as well. Shoot either myself or Anne-Marie an email. Contact information is below, and just let us know, meeting preference, types, but whether in person or virtual meetings will work best, and we will try and get that up and running before the end of the year, so that we are set to start the next school year out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Anti-Racism Network, Rita Robinson.
Hi, thank you, Leslie. Good evening, everyone. The ARN Network, we are right in the middle of a 4-day pop-up popcorn shop, which is our fundraiser, which we use to raise funds for the scholarship that we give to graduating seniors that have made a strong commitment in anti-racism efforts, either at Central or beyond. So we hope that you definitely click on the links. I know that a few of us have posted links on the listserv, and there may even be some on the social media sites as well. It's a little friendly competition amongst some of the parents. I know everyone is trying to get their friends and family and the community to support us. So whatever link you click, all the proceeds are made accessible to us, and all the proceeds go to the scholarship. It's just a little friendly competition to keep it going. And so we'd have our next meeting, which is actually this upcoming Sunday at 4 p.m. And the applications are open for the students to begin to apply for the scholarship. They can nominate themselves, they can nominate a peer, and it's also open for staff to make nominations as well. So if you know a graduating senior, please encourage them to apply. I'll make sure that we submit the link in the chat so that you have access to it, and they will be receiving the links to the application as well. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send us an email. And if you don't want to order popcorn, or you don't want to have it shipped to someone else, or make a donation for popcorn, you can specifically donate to us using the HSA link, and you can do a drop down, which allows for you to submit your donation directly to the ARN network, which makes it accessible for us to give to our scholarships. So we thank you so much for your support. We look forward to giving the scholarship, which has become our annual thing. And having presented the scholarships to the students myself, I can tell you that they are really excited, and to see them receive the award and acknowledged by their peers is phenomenal. So we really hope that you support our efforts in supporting our students in the work that they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. And for anyone with a pop-up shop, if you want to take advantage of being on this call and drop your link in the chat, we might make some sales tonight. Next is Safety First Coalition, Michelle Wolf.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, I wanted
I'm
to
sorry.
let you know about the grief workshop that happened pretty recently, April 10th. Students were led by a grief coach to hold a space in terms of processing grief in relationship to death or violence. And I put in the chat the flyer. So you might just want to check in with your kids to see if they signed up to do the workshop the other day. So I put in the chat the flyer, as well as Naila Francis's post on Instagram about her experience with working with Central students, which seemed really productive. And then the other thing is that we are actually looking for more ideas in terms of programming, in terms of a speaker series. If you've heard of anyone who has spoken in relationship to safety or violence, we'd love to hear your ideas, and you can go ahead and even put it in the chat, or if you have any ideas in terms of how Safety First Coalition should respond to, it was initially created in relationship to safety on SEPTA, and we did that bystander intervention training. And and any ideas are welcome. And you can email me, and we'll start planning for the next year. And we could also use more volunteers in terms of working on the committee and bringing fresh new ideas to it. So that's it.
Thank you, Michelle. That is the end of our board committee or HSA committees. And then here are just the names of the people who head up these committees. I'll just say a word about the chairs. We have a couple of chairs who have kids, students who will be graduating this or next year. So we are looking for, as Robin mentioned, a co-chair for fundraising. We would also like to have a co-chair for hospitality, as we'll be losing our chair next year. And we are still looking for someone who might be interested in fielding the many questions that come through Facebook and the parent Google group. So if you're interested, you can drop your name in the chat. You can email me or just the list to say that you'd be interested in volunteering. And we are also looking for someone who would be interested in getting involved on the tech side of HSA, supporting our Google group and documents and YouTube channel. So please reach out if you're interested. I think we have our classroom reps on this evening's meeting, or a few of them, and they've given some updates, so we'll go through their slides. First up is Lisa Capizzi. If she's not here, I can run through the slide. Senior prom is Thursday, May 25th, 7 to midnight. The venue is listed there. The tickets are $110 per person. Graduation merchandise for 282 is on sale online. Sorry, I think you can find I'm going backwards here. I think you can find the link online. Dues can also be paid online. And Battle of the Classes continues with Tug of War, the 5K on this Friday, April 14th, and other exciting events are coming. Next up is Jamie Kudera or Shanice Johnson for 28, sorry, I'm losing track of the numbers, 5. Do we have Jamie? Okay. I'll run through this slide as well. Hoodies are on sale, very limited supplies. They can be purchased from Mr. Horwitz in rooms 207, $35 each. The 3rd annual 5K will be held this Friday, April 14th. Junior prom is April 28th from 7 to 11 p.m. at Spin. And Central at Phillies. Tickets are on sale, and I'm blanking on the date, but I know we have it listed in a slide coming up. And you can see the flyer here for the junior prom. Very nice. Next, I can see Amy is here. Hi, Amy.
Good evening, everyone. So the soft hop was supposed to be held earlier, but it was moved because it was right on the 31st, right before spring break. So Ms. Thornton thought that maybe it should be moved because too many people were traveling. Anyway, tickets are on sale until this Friday, the 14th, and you can, in room 313. You can either go at lunch, or the kids can go at lunch, or they can go during their homeroom to get the tickets. And the actual party is May 5th at Lucky Strike. It's $65, which is a bargain compared to the junior prom and the prom. So I think that sounds like a bargain. They also are allowing for one additional guest that does not go to Central for an additional $65, but the guest must complete a form. And I put all of that on the listserv this morning, all the links that you need to fill out the form and all the information. And the party is from 6:30, I think it's 6:30 to 9:30. Are there any questions about this party that the sophomores are having, that 284 is having at Lucky Strike? I think it sounds fun. But remember, tickets, again, they will not be on sale past this Friday. Here is a Philly Thrive this Saturday from 10 to 4. You can earn community service there also. This flyer can be found in Google Classroom, the 284 area of Google Classroom. And this was also announced in that same 284 Google Classroom. It was from Principal Snyder. She wrote down these deadlines for LaSalle dual enrollment timeline. So I encourage parents to go to the 284 area in Google Classrooms. You can get all kinds of service, community service ideas and workshops and information like the LaSalle dual enrollment timeline. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Last up is freshman class. Is Debbie Mazur on?
So I'm here, but I was walking back from taking my daughter to an appointment. So if you don't mind sharing, that would be awesome.
Oh, sure. So I see a couple of events here, in addition to the flyer for Central at the Phillies, which is on May 19th. There's also Battle of the Classes charity, and the organization that the freshman class is collecting for is Gift of Life. I also want to mention for the Phillies that President Kate Davis, our very own President Kate Davis, will be throwing out the first pitch at that game. So you can get tickets. I think this has been sent to the parent listserv, so you can use the link there to get tickets. And I can try to drop it in the chat as well. That brings us to our schedule for next meetings. Just one more to go. That's May meeting, which will be, the topic will be mental health workshop with a speaker from the counseling department and possibly a guest speaker. Upcoming dates, a lot of these are, this is repeated from what you've seen earlier, but this Friday, early dismissal for professional development. Saturday's HSA cleanup day, 9 to noon. The week of April 17 is the APIU showcase week, Monday through Thursday of that week. 21st, school's closed for Eid. The 26th, the blood drive. As President Davis mentioned, IB testing begins April 27th, and that will be at LaSalle. Junior prom, April 28th, soft hop, and the list goes on. And again, President Davis is throwing out the first pitch. And that's the Phillies versus the Chicago White Sox.
The Cubs.
Oh, sorry, the Cubs. Sorry, I'm from the south side of Chicago, so I'm thinking of White Sox. We have a slide here from the Alumni Association, but we don't have a speaker, so I can run through. Please save the date for the Board of Managers meeting, which is June 6th. And information and invites will follow. All are invited, all are welcome. And then there's also the Leading the Way Capital Campaign. There's a link here, which I'm sorry, I can try to leave in the chat as soon as we're done. And there's the trip to DC is actually, which is tomorrow, is actually funded by the Alumni Association of Central. So we have them to thank for sponsoring that for a group of 100 students who will be attending. I don't know if there are any questions, but that is the end of our slides. Let's check in here. Oh, it looks like, okay. It looks like they've been answered as they've been asked. Does anyone else have questions before we wrap up for tonight? Then I'll just, one last reminder to everyone to sign in if you haven't already with your name, email, and student's name. And thank you again for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Leslie.
Have a good night. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, everyone.